Complex Identities. Hoosiers with Disabilities from Minoritized Communities. Indiana Disability History Project. Indiana Institute on Disability and Community. Having a disability means belonging to a group that has been minoritized or disadvantaged. What about people with disabilities who also belong to a minoritized racial or ethnic group? The Indiana Disability History Project conducted interviews to explore that intersectionality experience. Intersectionality is a term used to describe the complex experience of multiple and intersecting forms of discrimination, theorized by Kimberlé Crenshaw, civil rights advocate and legal scholar. For our interviewees, that experience includes racism and ableism. We heard about complicated identities, deep-rooted obstacles, and the sense of empowerment gained by questioning discriminatory practices.
I can only speak from the standpoint of what I've experienced. In other races have better opportunities to services there's a difference when it comes to the minority race. Like I said, it's just that we have been omitted for such a long time. It's as if we don't matter.
Being born with cerebral palsy, it didn't help the cause at all. I grew up and I don't think nobody understood who I was. It took me a long time to understand who I was for myself. But I guess as I grew up, going to school was not easy.
I'm a woman. I'm Black. I'm deaf. You combine all three things, it's hard because the system is oppressive. The different layers in the system are oppressive.
It's a challenge to make your way amidst compounded expectations, assumptions, and misconceptions.
And as a Black woman with a disability, I recognize that I face multiple overlapping and intersecting systems of oppression. And these systems I have to navigate every day as a part of my just human experience. But I can't always tease out what particular manifestation of oppression I'm experiencing in the moment. I don't know if I am being marginalized or overlooked or not attended to because I am disabled or because I'm a woman or because I am Black.
People describe struggling against dominant cultural norms.
I was sent here because my country, my birth country, did not have the medical care. And so here I was placed with a family. It's for a total strangers, a white family. They did not speak my language. I did not speak their language.
For some, the experience is being Black in a white world.
Honestly, my sign language is white. I don't have an identity as a Black person because I grew up at the deaf school. There are very few Black people at the deaf school, and a lot of the teachers are white. I would say there might be one or two Black teachers there. Those teachers teach as a white person. I dress as a white person. And as I grew up, I identify as a woman who is deaf. And my Black identity, I didn't really identify with. So again, being a minority, it's not easy because we're all mainstreamed in some areas. Our friends, our family, our environment. If we spent all our time with Black people, then it would be different. It'd be just like taking a white person and putting them in a Black family.
Interviewees were concerned about racial bias in their health care.
It was at the onset of the pandemic, so really concerned about going into any hospital, any emergency but needed to. I was in such pain that I needed to go. And the nurse in that particular hospital, the white male nurse, treatment of me was just so, it was just very abrupt. He was very rude. I was in a lot of pain. He did not, and so I needed some pain relief. He did not believe that I was in the pain that I communicated I was in. You know, I can't say if there was, if race had a play. I can't say whether or not, because I'm a Black person with a disability, and I was talking about pain and being in pain, they discounted my pain, and making some assumptions about the actual necessity of some intervention there. I don't know what was going on, but I do know that at that time I felt extremely vulnerable. I felt extremely unsafe.
Educators' expectations may be low for students of color who have disabilities.
I believe, and it's personal, that Patrice did not receive the education that she deserved because of, and I really have a hard time saying it because I really don't want to believe it. I still don't want to believe that because of her being Black, African American, and with a disability, that she did not receive the education. But I saw it. The big thing that I saw was toward the end of her high school years, that junior, senior year, where work, in my opinion, education was a key, and she did not receive that. And I saw other kids receiving it.
Oppression on multiple fronts can generate resistance to those oppressions. Interviewees expressed the determination to persist in the face of challenges.
Because you're not willing to help me, don't mean I stop.
Now that's something that you won't see the Blairs do. We will not stop, okay? Because at the point that you stop and you give up, then you have lost.
Patrice and I were homeless for 5 years, and we stayed with different family members over that 5-year period. Could not find a place to stay. The story is horrific. I lived in a place for 18 years, and she was born there, so she knew no other place to live. I couldn't afford to live there anymore. I believe that I needed to go through that to understand what these people are going through now with housing.
People living with intersecting identities have valuable life experience that can support others who face similar barriers.
To be honest, for myself, it's tougher than white people. Yeah. I've tried. I'm 53 years old. And I've been looking for a job. It doesn't matter if it's a simple job or a better job. I don't know. They've turned me down, but I'm not sure if it's because I'm deaf or because I'm Black or because I'm a woman. And that impacts me every day. I see these people get jobs quickly, other women, but me, I have been fighting to get into positions. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to show others that they can do it, that they don't have to be afraid.
A social worker at a homeless shelter for veterans, she actually asked me, was I in treatment for my schizophrenia? And I asked her, what is schizophrenia? Well, looking in hindsight, it prepared me for what I do today. I am a Veteran Administration trained peer support specialist. I'm a service-disabled veteran-owned small business and minority business enterprise, Indiana veteran-owned small business, and disabled-owned business enterprise.
Hoosiers of color with disabilities are members of multiple minoritized communities related to both disability and race or ethnicity. They have unique experiences and challenges. They describe lives complicated by their multiple marginalized identities and the overlapping systems of oppression they must navigate. They describe first-hand encounters with injustice and how they have worked to end those injustices. Learning from their lived experiences will help us eliminate such injustice. Thank you to the individuals whose interviews were excerpted for this video. Produced by Indiana Institute on Disability and Community, Center for Health Equity, Indiana University. Funded by the Indiana Governor's Council for People with Disabilities. Copyright 2022. The Trustees of Indiana University.